Oh, you let them see behind whatever curtain you want.
Dude, I won't see behind any curtain I want.
Oh, God. We are live, by the way, just to confirm.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Mm.
Oh.
Now, we do know. No secret. If I didn't set an alarm, I would have overslept for this. You would have heard nothing. And catch y'all, once again, would not aired for a week.
Wah, wah, wah. Haley's last week was a good reason because, Thanksgiving and, I was traveling, so there's no way to edit anyways. There was a good reason last week.
Yeah.
This would not have been a good reason, however.
No, and the week before that was probably also a good reason.
Well, we didn't take off the week before that. We took 2 weeks before that.
Did we? Oh, that's right. That's right.
We've kind of been on
this.
We've been on an every 2 week schedule, kind of, for
God, that sounds lovely, but I don't want it.
The last few episodes. Look, recording.
I'm thinking more that's like that would be lovely for actual work.
That would
actually enjoy doing.
Yeah, that'd be lovely for that. I mean, it's just this time of year, it's been a constant calibrating thing for almost 8 years now. Podcasts that we do weekly don't always happen weekly, starting from about the second week of November until about the second week of January. Edits don't happen on time. Stuff just happens because it's just the time when family shit pops up and everything happens, and everything goes awry. Also, it seems to be the prime time for ISPs to throttle networks and for stuff to explode. So.
Oh yeah, and I've had my ISP explode a couple times. So we're just like, no, JK, no stream for you.
It's the time of year when right before Black Friday, inexplicably phones and equipment just stop working for no logical reason. It's not at all like, a patch was sent out to make your thing stop working, so you try to buy something around Black Friday. That doesn't happen at all.
Gotcha. All right. Oh, well, I was going to do something a little more talkative. That's not the word I was going to use.
A little more talk. Yeah, on this talk show that we do, let's do something a little more talkative.
Anyways, welcome to Catch... Wow. Shit.
What's sad is I do leave most of this in. Most of the time.
Fine.
It's really sad.
It's a price I pay for not editing.
Like if you edited, you would take this out.
No, I wouldn't.
Exactly.
All right, I just moved my desk. Is the mic sound fine?
Yeah, there's been no issues. It literally seems like your mic only react. That's why I think it's a cable issue. It seems like when you actually move your mic back and forth, because remember, it's the same thing you guys reported my mic was doing like a year ago when I was still using the cord that's wrapped through this arm, and there were just anytime I touched my mic, there would just be sounds for a while. Sorry for audio listeners.
Yeah, it's all good.
So I think you just have the same thing. Wow, you can see my bald spot from the front now.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm tired that my mind completely slowed that down, and I just thought I heard, wow, you can see my balls. I'm like, what?
For those listening
or watching, Catch All Podcast. We'll do that one more time. Welcome to the Catch All Podcast, the water cooler for constantly calibrating, where we talk about our gaming experiences and sometimes the news and sometimes even our balls. I'm your host, Justin, with my co-host, Josh.
For those wondering who are just tuning in, Justin woke up from a nap 25 minutes ago, an unexpected one, and I took a nap earlier today. I don't usually take naps, so for all intents and purposes, we be high, yo.
Yeah, we be high. We got that, like, when a kid sleeps and then they wake up and they can't stop. I don't, because I don't have them, but we got that high going on. Nothing's going to make sense this episode.
There's some manic giddiness going on up in here.
Yeah, but we've been off a week, which means we've been playing games. Sometimes, well, we would like to think we were playing games.
I have not played games. I've barely played. I don't think. Actually, no. I'm not even gonna say barely. I have not played a single solitary video game since when we would have done this show normally. So like last Wednesday. But I played a lot of gaming in the previous week. Had we done last week's episode?
Yeah, and I'm going to trim some stuff back that I have been playing. Because if I don't remember it, then you would know. I almost didn't remember probably one of our main topics.
Here's my question for you. When we do this show, do you sometimes like pull up your Switch and like look through your recent games, or pull up, your PS4, whatever system you like, okay, I've been playing on this system, but I can't remember anything I've been playing, so you look at your recent stuff, you're like, oh shoot, I actually did play Blarg Honk 72.
No, because most of it's been PC lately.
That's hard to
it's
look
kind
up.
of hard to do that.
You can look at, if you've been playing on Steam, you can look through your recent achievements and sometimes get a vague idea of if you forgot.
There's actually something I meant to implement that I started by making a document and just titling the document, but doing nothing with said document, to like make a gaming journal for us. That it's just a place where we jot down what we've been playing if we have thoughts about it.
That would actually
And
be
also
really
kinda-
smart.
Yeah, also keep track when we played it. So yeah,
That would also
maybe I
be
have to make
smart
that
for end of the year Game Award stuff, because like Constant Calibrating
That's
podcast.
actually
Yeah, well, we've got our end of the year film and gaming awards coming up, and I'm in that usual panic where I'm like, I don't even remember what came out this year, let alone what
here's
I've
the great
played.
part. That was the idea, and actually started that document good enough into the year it would have been serviceable. But I totally forgot about it.
Yeah, well, now we got something to look forward to 2020. Because here's the thing, film is easy to look up. You can literally just look up films that came out in 2019. There's not that many films in the grand scheme of things, because, yes, there's independent stuff, but I know myself, I don't see a lot of that, so I can just look up all the mainstream stuff that came out.
I
and
don't
it's
see
like,
a lot of
boom.
that, especially not in theaters. And
Yeah.
I'm so stuck on mainstream stuff. I hate it because like everything's good right now. Like there's so much good out there, even though like it is mainstream and it's purposely targeting parts that make you like that.
I've got a lot to say on that come December 17th on our award show.
Little versions of older characters
For sure.
people just love.
But what I was going to say on this, but like film, you can look up and be like, what films came out in 2019? Do you know what happens when you look up what games came out in 2019? For starters, if you can find one concentrated list that has everything on it, good effing luck. Secondly, it's not just whether you can find one that has like a concentrated list with everything. It's also the fact that that list is going to have 18,000 things. Like... So no, so the long and short of it is, your idea of having a journal is something we should definitely implement for 2020.
Yeah, I think so.
I like what there's a content creator who runs a talent agency. I think Evolve Talent, Havoc. He does a thing where he was doing a thing at least where he had the goal of playing 100 games in the year, and he would release a graphic with it had 100 slots, and he would just write the name of the game and put a picture in every single slot, kind of thing. I always liked that idea, for more of a
Like a scrapbook.
It's like a scrapbook accountability thing, but like literally anything that can help me keep track of what I've been playing would be phenomenal. And I sincerely don't know how it took us 8 years to. Well, I guess 7 years is when you started it.
I normally have memory issues. More so like for like more recent things that I want to remember that I want to talk about later, which makes it really hard when I do job interviews or some podcasts like so. It's something I keep trying to figure out tools, but the problem is I figure out a tool that I totally forgot I started that tool.
Yeah, no, I've been there. I mean, I was talking about with this podcast that when I sat down at about 45 minutes ago to make sure all of my stuff for the document was in place, I was like, oh, shoot, we don't have this news item on there. I don't know if we'll get the news, but we don't have this news item. And then I thought, oh, but we don't have that news item. So I wrote about that news item, a couple of notes. And then I sat and I'm like, wait, what was the first one again? And it was just gone. And I could not tell you what it was. I may have written it on the doc. I may not have. Because I don't remember what it was. Because 34 years old apparently means memory go boom.
Memory go boom. And I finally reached a point in my life where I go blackout drunk that I don't remember what I did the night I was drinking. It's mostly beer.
I have still never experienced that, actually.
I haven't experienced it till recently. And I find out, like, liquor, I'm fine, for all your younger listeners. And it's more so with beer.
Okay, this is not like an alcohol show necessarily, and we don't have the Bites and Brews guys on here, so it's definitely not an alcohol show, but...
I would like to talk about this with them.
I would actually Tony and I had a conversation about this the other a few weeks ago at a Stream Arizona event, but I've only been blackout drunk once, and that was the week of my wife and my wedding, because her and I are not big drinkers. I was a little bit bigger then, and we each had our own pitcher of margaritas at Tortilla Joe's at Disneyland downtown.
Again.
And I remember, I think on the Constant Calibrating podcast, I remember leaving Tortilla Joe's and walking for about 5 or 6 feet in downtown Disney, and then I'm naked on a balcony.
There was a recent night where I was naked and drunk and forgot most of it.
Let's talk gaming though. Let's get to the actual purpose of this.
I need
show.
someone to research if it's Nom Nom. I'm about to whisper something in Jeff Goldblum's ear because I would love to see a show on it.
I'm not sure if they would handle you saying on alcohol. I'm not sure that Disney Plus would go that route.
I know, and that's the sad part.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I think you'd have to talk to what was it, Mark Summers, who used to do that similar kind of show on Food Network, and even then they wouldn't have done it there.
This is true.
Jesus, Justin.
So, excuse me. I've been chugging a Coke Zero.
Okay.
Not any better for me, but I love lately it is. Because I need a little caffeine, but I don't want much because I want to actually sleep tonight. Anyways, what game you play? Hi. So I'm gonna spare y'all update on Gundam.
I appreciate that.
There's none. Not. It's not the game or anything like that. It's just I finally hit the point where I'm trailing off of it because I've been so many other things that came out recently that it's just I don't want to spend that time with Gundam anymore. I mean, we're at that point in our relationship. I still like it. I like to see it every now and then, but I don't want to spend every waking moment. So, yeah, I'm not doing too much on that front at the moment. Other things though, Death Stranding. I delivered more packages.
Yeah, you deliver more packages. I mean, you only talked about for endlessly. Only talked about Death Stranding last episode to the point that we didn't get to our other topics.
I think it's a lot of stuff on Death Stranding I would like to talk about is more spoiler side. I mean, I just met Heartman. Crap, that's an interesting dude. It does weird cutscene, but it's great. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to talk about without spoiling much of it. Plus, I don't remember what I talked about already, and I'll probably talk about the exact same thing I did last time. So we'll just go on and I delivered more packages, set up more zip lines, built some more roads.
I mean, I approve.
It doesn't sound exciting, but it's fun.
I already told you, last week, hearing you talk about the game did make me slightly regret not taking you up on the code you offered me. But at the same time, I know I would have never had actual proper time to do it because I'm sitting here. We've got our on Constant Calibrating, we've got our Best Games of the Decade show and our award show coming up, and I'm just sitting here there are 3 games still on my list of stuff that I actively wanted to play that I have not played that I need to play so I can be prepared to those shows, let alone something that I only kind of got vaguely sold on by you recently, you know?
Mm-hmm. It's definitely it feels like an indie game with a AAA budget. I
mean, that can be
the best way I can put it because you wouldn't see much stuff like this except from that side of the industry, and
sure.
That's kind of a compliment. But it also does have Kojima-ness in it.
Well, that's also. I mean, that's also the negativity that's been spewed at the game a little bit as well. Is people being sorry, my wife is jumping on the trampoline like a ridiculous human being trying to distract me right now. It's the most ridiculous effing thing I've ever seen in my life, and
I'm seeing this.
It's pretty amazing. So what I was to say is, what was I gonna? Damn it, Charnel. This is why I usually keep the window closed for situations like this. But no, so one of the negative things that have been spewed at Hideo Kojima about Death Stranding is what you said about it being a AAA, an indie game with a AAA budget. A lot of people have been him talking about this game and his fans talking about this game being we've had games similar to this already in the indie space. It just didn't have the budget or the notice or the marketing kind of thing. It's literally the same kind of game we've already had, except it has Hideo Kojima's name on it. And there's truth in that. But
it's also the kind of thing that he does certain things with cutscenes, certain things with gameplay.
Sure.
That it's when a kid does something, it was cute the first time, and maybe the next time after, but there's eventually a point where it's just not cute anymore.
Yeah.
There's still some of that in there.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of, yeah, I feel that.
But yep, that's Death Stranding. I ain't gonna go too far into that. So something that's kind of a little more exciting is I put the VR headset back on. I forget everything I played. No, I played a little bit of Gord, punched my mic twice. Updated my Star Wars mod in Blade and Sorcery because, gosh, did I feel the need, a mighty need. Speaking of which, I did install Knights of the Old Republic again for some reason. Mandalorian, that's the only reason.
I mean, it's got to be the only reason.
Which, by the way, works really well in ultra wide. Like Mandalorian, not VR. I mean, VR, you're wearing a headset, so it doesn't really matter. Not Mandalorian. Wow. Old Republic.
Thank you. I'm like, where are we going here?
Well, what I mean by that, like, most games do not support ultra wide when like hits a cutscene.
Okay.
Understandably so. It's like film. You make it for a certain aspect.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to blow that up because that's what it's programmed for. It looks like everything in Old Republic is true in game.
Clarifying, Knights of the Republic, not Old Republic, right?
Knights of the
Yeah, just want to make sure
Knights of the Old Republic.
Just want to make sure we're talking about the same game. That's all.
Wait, no, the MMO.
Oh, oh shit, you've been playing Old Republic?
Like very little. So yes, Old Republic.
God
so
damn.
this shows there are some games that claim to use the engine cutscenes, and there's some that claim it but kind of don't because it's still a full-fledged cutscene where everything is kind of like reset. For instance, a good example, a Kojima game. Yes, it is using the in-game engine, but it's still a cutscene. Old Republic, things are actually just happening in that live world of the way it does it. Even though like other players can't see it, yeah, it is instance, but still like the stage is the live world. So like with the widescreen that I got, which I think is 21:9, like it kind of cuts off both sides, kind of like when you started watching movies in widescreen for the first time, cuts off the top and the bottom. This one cuts off the sides to make it back to the 16:9 ratio. But yeah, it doesn't do it in Old Republic, surprisingly.
Interesting.
And I'm guessing that's the reason why. But most games do it. Anyways, yeah, I put the headset back on. I played a little bit of Forest. Holy crap, which I didn't. Not because it's bad. It's actually really well adapted for VR, especially games that weren't meant for it and then adapted. Some kind of had this not right feeling to it. One that deeply disappointed me is Subnautica. It's fine, but you could tell it's not fully implemented for it. Like, the Forest went all in. Like, everything works really well in VR. Actually, yeah. Other one was disappointing is not Star Citizen. Oh my god, we're about to talk about that. No Man's Sky. Excellent for ship flight. Not so well when on the ground or out of your ship.
That's so interesting because you would honestly kind of expect the opposite.
Oh, that's the thing too. With something like No Man's Sky, because you're transitioning from a static spot to a spot you want to be more active. If you played it fully static, maybe. But still take away from some of it. The trolls don't feel as intuitive when you're walking around. The ship stuff is fantastic. You actually like can look around, grab your throttle, push it up, stuff like that. But yeah, so the Forest does it really well, extremely well. But like, if anybody played the Forest, you know them creepy things that come at you at night. First you hear them, and then you see them. They just pop out of the darkness and scare the crap out of you. Yeah, it's great in VR, just fantastic. So we'll move on to the next thing.
I can only imagine. Like, I've never actually watched more than a few minutes of somebody streaming the Forest. In all honesty.
True, same here. It's one of those games.
Well, I'm
that,
just
like,
saying I don't have a visual reference for what you're saying. That's all I mean by
like naked, savage, meat eater, like cannibal dudes to come at you.
I mean,
to be fair, and women.
You know, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, except like when this game, you can keep like hacking at something and it gets hacked up. So I'm concerned for myself.
Any game that allows me to keep beating the shit out of a corpse makes me very concerned for my psyche.
Far can I go with this?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely remember some aggression issues I used to have in Elder Scrolls games, particularly Morrowind and Oblivion, where I would just be beating up a corpse for a really long time, and then I would start picking up the corpse and like dragging it around, and you know, then my dad would walk in the room. That would probably, might have been Oblivion then, or you know, later on with Oblivion, actually have my girlfriend, now my wife, walk in the room and be like, "The fuck is wrong with you?"
Gorn and Blade of Sorcery, especially bad about this, because you could pick up the dismembered limbs, and I totally have, like, chopped the head off, picked it up, like, ah, and threw it at a person.
Yeah, honestly, that's like 90% of the reason I want to play those games.
But next one is something that you and I have personally been waiting for a price drop, because we're so unsure of what the experience would be like, but super curious.
Well, it's one of our deep buy-in. It's one of our earliest experience. I think our first PAX West was our first experience with finding out that there are, like, you know, demos and stuff of games that you have to be on the right lists and are hidden places. Our first experience with trying to, like, go into one of those rooms and be like, hey, can we get an appointment? And then being like, no. Like that, this was literally one of our early things, and we've never been able to try it because, again, the price point was just a little too high, made us a bit nervous.
Yeah, especially the VR field, because prices are usually down to like 20 or so.
Yeah.
Which, I hate that, because some of these games are full-fledged games, but some games feel like a glorified tech demo, so understandably so, like you're gun-shy about it.
Sure.
But some games do truly deserve that price point. But this game is Star Trek Bridge Crew. I can't say if it deserves that price point that it was at, but God, this is enjoyable.
Yep. I've been really wanting to hear you talk about this because, like you, I also picked up the game, and I also picked up the next gen DLC.
Yeah, and I'll explain what that actually means with the different DLC or different ships in general. So the purpose of the game is like a few ship games out there that have multiplayer, especially that one phone game everybody went crazy about a while ago, where like everybody has their own roles. Something pops up, but it's more of like there's a helmsman, there's an engineer, there's somebody on tactical, essentially weapons, and there's the captain, which is, you know, your conductor, pretty much. Yeah. Captain observes everything going on. He has pretty much most of the information everybody else has, and he tries to command the best things you do. And the thing is, you do need a good captain to do this. Now, saying that is, the game is up to 4 players, as has 4 slots, but there always has to be a captain, but the other slots can be AI.
Okay.
So you can essentially play this game by yourself if you want to. Definitely not as enjoyable, but it can be done because you can give orders to the AI by either like highlighting them in a certain way, waiting for a menu to pop up and pick what you want. It does have voice recognition, but that's been hit and miss with me. It's probably because I'm using my headset microphone, but it's actually using my microphone in front of me. And when I play this, I try to sit further back, so I just can't get enough to it. But when it works, though, it's freaking great because, like, you got everything set for your eye, and all of a sudden you get ready for the warp. You just, like, engage warp, and it feels good. But yeah, it's one of those games, like, you're trying to... one person has most of the information, but giving commands to other people, and you're all trying to work together to pilot this ship and also do missions. They do have story missions. And then they also have, and well, there are only 2 modes. The other mode is it's kind of like you pick a ship, it puts you into place, random missions pop up. It does have an endpoint, but like it's random every time, like from hey, we got a ship stuck out here, what to do, to hey, go explore this weird anomaly where you just scan stuff. And sometimes things happen. So it is freaking cool. Because like when you're just like you have to I'm trying to think how to explain this. Like you have to push buttons in the virtual world to make things happen. Okay. You look on your ship as a captain, you got buttons for your comms, like the answer a hail, put your map on, pops up, look at it, you can interact with it, it's cool. It depends what ship, depends how you interact with it. So the first one is like, it's not an Enterprise, but it pretty much looks like an Enterprise. Gotcha. And the best way I can explain it is just think of the different eras of Star Trek. And this works for the aesthetic and the tech of the ship as well. Okay. This one is Abrams era, so the movies pretty much.
Interesting.
Just even a little lens flare.
Fair enough. So it's kind of like the Kelvin universe of stuff then.
It is. It's the most accessible one too, because like everything is explained when you're looking at it. Every button pretty much tells you what to do. You can look at it. You can figure out what everything is for you in the best way possible. If you can't, there is a help button you can push. Here's a problem with the game too. of course, like this came out when VR was starting to get the push notice, but wasn't there yet. I mean, it's still technically not there yet, but like it's when like people were trying to hop on like Ubisoft, Sony, and all that. Because really, I don't see, unless I'm wrong, I haven't seen Ubisoft put out another VR game besides Eagle Flight.
Not that I
like,
can think of.
Which, and all credit to them, they're just like that's one of the few studios that like they see a new platform and immediately try to jump on it, see how viable it is to them at that point. Like, especially like how long you supported the one of the few supporters of the Wii U.
Sure.
But also they jumped on board when Switch hits. Every new console, they're usually there and try to find some integration to hop on at the moment they can.
Sure.
Actually, really awesome of them to do that. I mean, of course, it's a business thing, but also they give it a shot. So
they're open. They're open to experimentation. They're open to new things. I would agree. Ubisoft, of like the major publishers and stuff like that, they're not as wacky as Nintendo, but they're kind of like in that same sphere as Nintendo, that they're willing to explore some potentially dumb ideas just to see if there's somewhere to make profit.
Yeah, and I'm guessing just VR didn't hit at the time because, of course, like it's a steep buy-in no matter what VR you're getting.
Doesn't matter what.
It's a little more so with I guess if you want to get into like true VR, that's not like putting your phone in a cardboard box for a mount and looking at it like a glorified. God, I forget what those picture things were. That like you put up your eyes, you scroll through it in different pictures. Like, oh, I'm actually there.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I think is. There's a glorified version in advance of that. This is where like you can interact with stuff. You have controllers dedicated for it, which helps you immerse you more. The best way to get into VR, I honestly think, is Facebook Oculus. They're making the biggest push, and mainly with Quest, because Quest the price is at or lower than most headsets, and I'm talking about the one that is free. Quest, like Tyler's, no cords. You get it. You load your things up by the app, but does let you down to the Oculus Store.
Black Friday, I mean, I legitimately, despite the fact that I still have a Vive, I haven't used it in a bit, but I still have a Vive, I legitimately considered, for a moment before I remembered I have no money, I considered a Quest because the price was really damn good.
God, I was passed out in food coma. If I saw that, I would have got it probably. Because I still want one too. I want one actually dedicated to, so I have a better access to the Oculus Store. Because right now, Oculus, like VR right now too, is kind of like how phones are at the moment. It's the best way I could put it. Where there's Apple, and then every other platform, mainly Android. VR is the same. There is more like there is Oculus, then there's the rest of them, which usually you'll find on Steam. And what I mean by that is like there's stuff specifically only on that product, being Oculus, and it looks like Oculus has some more high dollar stuff, as in they had the Vader Immortal series.
Sure.
Minecraft. What was the thing they just bought? Beat Saber. Now.
Beat Saber. Yep.
Which, of course, Beat Saber's on everything right now, but anything new is probably going to be just on the Oculus Store, and that's the only place you can get it. I have to use an app that tries to make it work, and some things don't. Like, I can't get Minecraft to load. Granted, I haven't put a lot of effort in trying to figure out why. But Vader Immortal loads, but not everything transfers as well. It's well enough. So that's the reason why I'm thinking about it, so I could truly experience those, especially because, oh god, that Insomniac game, I keep forgetting the name of, actually came out, and I want to play it.
Oh, yeah, that came out like a week or two ago.
Something like that. But at the same time, you don't get those
Stormland.
Stormland, thank you. And now, the other side definitely has some things too, super ambitious things, like, I don't think Blade and Sorcery's on there. Okay. Boneworks is the biggest one right now, and the one that just trumped that and is really pushing the Vive forward or the Index forward, like to the point where you can't buy it at the moment, is the announcement of the Half-Life VR game, which actually, if you look at it, has a Boneworks backbone in there. Boneworks is like going super into using the knuckle controllers, which track your fingers. That's the big thing about the Index. Just the way they implement everything, how everything is physics-based, how it works. Kind of like what actually Half-Life is famous for, I think, especially Half-Life 2. Yeah, I look at a lot of that I see in the Alyx game coming out. And also right now, like, if you bought a piece of Index gear, mainly the controllers or the headset or the whole kit, they give you a free copy. Like, I just happened to have, like, I saw it in my Steam library. I'm like, when the hell did I buy that? And I found out, they're actually just adding it on for anybody who has the stuff.
Interesting. All I'm gonna say is every time you say Boneworks, I hear Macho Man Randy Savage's voice.
Boneworks. I got you in my virtual world for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
The fact that you had that ready to go.
I didn't. That's the great part. I'm getting better at this. So
you can improv now?
I said all that to say this. They definitely stopped updating Star Trek.
Yeah.
I don't know why all this relates to that. Pretty much, you see some VR games, like a lot of them are actually implementing into new controllers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are definitely like, even though they don't use the finger tracking technology, at least adapting their stuff to work better with like the button layouts.
Sure.
They definitely left that long ago for Star Trek, which is disappointing, but I mean, understandably so. People probably weren't playing it, and you don't want to put money in something that's, well, not making money.
If there's no community, even if you have no community whatsoever or an extremely limited one, no company is going to continue putting stuff into it. Yep. Particularly even if it's involving a major license like Star Trek, which is a bummer because I have always dreamed of exploring Deep Space Nine or Voyager or other things.
There are people like still heavily playing it. Like I opened up my lobby and actually had a couple people jump in. I was surprised, and two people were. One was like the dude is super into it, like max level, because you do actually gain rank.
Oh, okay.
Like the proper rank, like lieutenants.
I had no idea that.
Yeah. And they're like, he was talking about like, oh man, is like, you know what you're doing, Captain? You good at your positions? Do you know where everything is? It's like, hold on, I'm gonna get somebody. It's like, because it's like, nah, man, I'm kind of stuck at Captain because the guy I play with doesn't want to be it. He loves doing engineer. So yeah, we had a guy. We actually had a group of someone that knows we're playing, but by the way, they were freaking hilarious though. Just like, bring up the whatever the frick. It's like, did somebody got excited, started moving? So it's like, did I tell you to do that? But like, they're playing around and a very good thing, and they're very good sports too. Except one dropped out, then one got bored and quit because I was like too much. Is like, "Hi, Captain's like he wanted some jokes, and I wasn't providing at the moment." So, but it was a really cool experience. But mostly, I mean, I played a little bit with my own, and I also played with a friend I also picked up, and hopefully with Josh too. Like, we can at least get a 3 crew going at the very least.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
It's an off experience with people, especially when you're doing it, because the computer is. They tried their best with the AI, but like you need AI. I think that you definitely need someone on engineering that can switch power when it needs to be swapped over, and I think someone on tactical because the computer only knows to just do this. Like Helm, you just like point here, follow that, and does that well enough.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know where I was going with this. Like I had a whole like train of thought of everything I wanted to hit, as I meant to write down everything I wanted to hit, but. I'll get into... So, I mean, you get the idea.
No, we got an idea. I think there's another space game you should honestly be moving on to, so we can...
Well, no, there is one thing I do want to do is the different ships. There's only 3, and that's if you have the DLC. There is the... We'll call it the Abrams version. They do have the Next Generation, and we switch to that. Everything does not, like, look the same, but have that aesthetic. Like, what you interact with fits that era.
Okay.
As in the technology... And just like for that era, like Catherine doesn't have like lights that just when you hit it, like a hologram panel pops up. You can do stuff. No, you actually have a tablet. You have to reach, pull to the side, punch in to do things.
Interesting.
And the consoles also seem like it's kind of like when Star Wars, like Episode 1, 2, and 3, prequel, but everything looks like it's from. The future of Star Wars.
Yeah,
it's just like that. Like I'm in Next Generation, which should be timeline wise further than from the first ship you get on, but technology wise, it feels like it's fallen back. But like the detail they do to the bridge is freaking crazy. It's not like just a skin. Like it is. Oh, the captain's chair is here. Oh, my science officer's right beside me. Tactical information right beside me as well. Then like where everybody's placed as far as the helms and stuff like that also would be accurate to what's on there, and they did a painful job of making that accurate. And then here's the part, like I actually wrote in Star Trek, like, screw the classic Enterprise, but bless the nerds who made it. Do you remember what the original Star Trek Enterprise bridge looks like and how they interact with things?
Yeah, the Constitution class, of course.
Mm-hmm. And do you remember how they interact with things? How their instrument panels look?
Yeah, overall, yeah.
Essentially a panel with a bunch of colored lights.
Yeah. So it's a panel with a bunch of colored lights that you have to deal with.
Yes, it is. With nothing written on it to tell you what to do. You have to pop up help. And there's a lot of buttons. Like, it's accurate to how many buttons were actually on set.
It kind of sounds like we just watched Galaxy Quest recently and watching Laredo learn how to fly because they based the flying on him just randomly moving his arms around on the TV show. It sounds like that where it's like that level of frustration where it's like nothing was actually meant to work. It was just for TV display purposes, but now there's this video game. It's like, well, we've got to make sense of, George Takei always hit these exact things when he was doing his job, or
Tunic. Click, click.
Yeah. Exactly. So people always were hitting the exact same things, and ergo that's how it works, and that's what the fans know things work. So now we've got to make it that work. But oh shit, there was no actual information for this. So good luck, people playing the video game.
At least he had joysticks.
Floridia.
There is nothing but square buttons from the helmsman.
Mm-hmm.
One makes it go up, one makes it go down, left and right, and where they're placed makes no damn sense. And then there's a ton that you can push. You can see that it gets pressed down, but don't do a damn thing. So, we hopped on that. The captain doesn't have anything that can pop up. It all pops on the main screen. Because that's what you had at the time. That's how it worked at the time. All the captain has to do is, colored switches. And a couple colored buttons. My first play engineer, there's a circle colored button. He's like, what the hell is this? Move. He's like, move power to shields. How? That's all it is. Just colored buttons. So it is so frustrating, but so perfect. I was frustrated, but I'm not mad at them because they did exactly what they planned to do.
I appreciate stuff like that. I appreciate stuff that it's like, if you're a fan, it's like, this is actually really cool. Also, fuck you for making me do this. Yeah, pretty much. They did such a good job of not just making a playable Star Trek game where you feel like you're on the bridge. They did it accurate to each era, how they should control, how it appears they control. If some advanced alien race was watching a bunch of Star Trek films or Galaxy Quest and made a ship based on what they've seen, that's how each controls. It's pretty freaking awesome. But yeah, that's that. Actually, we're going to hit to you real quick, Luigi Mansion. I have not played any further, but it sounds like you finished it. Yes, I finished it. My original plan was I was going to try to get all the gems and stuff before finishing the game. And then it just got to the point that I'm like, I really, at some point, got to get the Pokemon. And I'm just going to finish the game. And if I want to double back and get I think it's like a diamond-encrusted plunger is what you get for getting all the gems. And get the rare ghosts. Yeah. What everybody wants. Exactly. Well, it's kind of like that same mindset of when you got all the Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild. Not as difficult by any means. But that's like a dick present you would buy a custodian. Kind of, yeah, a little bit. I don't know what you get for all the rare ghosts. I don't know what you get. You're right on with the Korok scene. Said you've been collecting poop the whole time, and all you get is a bigger pile of poop. Exactly. So, but it's that same kind of Nintendo tongue-in-cheek kind of haha, you wasted your time kind of thing. I was gonna do it because I had, just from playing through the game naturally the way I played, I'd gotten more than, I think, 75% of the gems anyways. But I just decided I wanted to finish the game. So yeah, when we were doing the show last time 2 weeks ago, I think I was I was about to go to floor 14, which, no, floor 13, so there's 13, 14, 15, so I wrapped up the game. I would like to go on record that I hate the final boss of this game. So the last two bosses, there's a boss and then there's a final boss. The second to last was difficult. And then it was one of those things where it was the first time I actually had to really look up. I can't figure out what the hell I'm doing here. And when I looked up how to defeat the boss, it still made no sense. I literally had to watch a video because I could not wrap my head around it. And then as soon as I did what it was supposed to be doing, I'm like, oh, this is actually easy. The game did not clue me in at all. The final boss It's very clear what you have to do, but it is grotesquely difficult. And there's 3 waves, and it is one of the single hardest boss fights I have ever had in video games. I spent
also
almost...
because, like, Luigi's Mansion is not a particularly difficult game.
It's not a difficult game, but...
Gosh, I hate games to do that. Also, like, there is an extreme... Like, actually, one of the games we're going to talk about does this too a bit.
Yeah.
Extreme, like, difficulty spike. That makes no damn sense. Game direction or game planning-wise. I forget.
Yeah.
There's a certain word for that.
The progression, almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like, this was like 25 to 35 minutes. I never died in the final boss fight. Actually, no, I died once very early on and I had to restart. It was like, I made a dumb mistake and just had to restart. But, like, I spent 35 minutes in my actual time beating it. Again, 35 minutes on one fight in a game where the fights don't take that long. And yeah, it just, there was a thing where you had to, like, suck up a bomb and, like, shoot it at the person and at the ghost you're fighting, and it just wouldn't line up. Like, the controls were playing havoc with me, and, like, I knew everything I had to do, just nothing was working correctly, and it just got super frustrating. That being said, like, that one blemish, I still think Luigi's Mansion 3 is probably my top 5 favorite games of the year.
I was about to say, it's a game you finished.
Yeah, it's a game I finished. That doesn't happen very much anymore. I really do sincerely love the game. Luigi's my favorite character in, like, the Mario verse, I guess. Always has been. I have keychains. I have a lot of stuff with Luigi. I've always loved Luigi since I was a kid. So to play an actual proper Luigi game, finally, because the last time I played one was, like 20, 30 years ago with Mario went missing or whatever.
Not only that, like, it's a proper Luigi game that properly like highlights why Luigi should be lovable.
Exactly. The game was great. I loved the hell out of the game. I loved most of what I played. Again, like, the controls messed with me here and there, but in all honesty, it was a minor inconvenience more than anything. The game was a fun, I would guess, if I had to guess, somewhere like 10-ish hour experience, probably a little bit less than that. And as people have been pointed out, our friend Justin from SDGC pointed out, the game is ridiculously gorgeous and runs ridiculously well for how gorgeous it is. Like, that's the amount of stuff happening on the screen, the game rarely slows down. It rarely has issues. Literally, the controls and the very annoying sound when you're almost dying. The near-death sound is somehow worse than the Kingdom Hearts near-death sound. Like, aside
or Zelda.
I never thought Zelda was that bad. I think Kingdom Hearts...
No, Zelda got to the point, like, yes, it's annoying, yes, it's there, but it's not as bad, it's progressive. Like, Luigi's Mansion is one of those things, like, it's painful.
I can't tune it, like, health. Kingdom Hearts, I can barely tune it out. It actually makes it bothers me. Luigi's Mansion is impossible for me to tune out, and literally anytime I would get below, like, I think it was at about the 35 or lower hearts point in Luigi's Mansion, I would actually mute the game. Because I'm just like, yeah. It rarely happened, but when it happened, I'm like, I just don't want to listen to this.
Yeah, I really understand, like, some developers do it on purpose because they want you to experience, or do something on purpose because they want you to experience the game a certain way. Nintendo it's their greatest strength and weakness. But yeah, I wish for games to have that, will have a separate option just to turn that down in audio or off. Because it's there for people to let, like, come on, give me a hard mode where it's just not there at all. Because that's what's there for people who are kind of into games, to just let them know they're low in health, so they know what to start looking for when they're not, like, instead of people who actually, like, monitor that and keep track of it. As well, I guess. I don't know. My words ain't so good right now. But yeah, totally understand. Did you have anything else you want to talk about Luigi's Mansion?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I really like the game, and there's a chance you might hear me talk more about it on one of our upcoming Constant Calibrating shows.
Yeah, so next game, Josh, I know I'm the host, but you're going to reel me in. Holy crap.
I'm really going to have to reel you in, yeah.
And I'll probably try my best, because fresh to it, and I'll try my best to save it, because I honestly don't know what the hell to talk about for next week.
Cool.
At all. So I probably could do a blowout then. But yeah, Star Citizen, not new whatsoever. Made my account in pledge in 2014.
Good old 2014. That's when I did mine as well.
They had playable builds before, but wasn't too great. It was enough to let you experience the controls. Like, they had a separate starport where you can load up a ship and walk around, which is probably like the coolest thing, or one of the coolest things in Star Citizen. That's the thing that like catches attention, because it's one of those sci-fi games that you wish they actually did that with their ships, but they don't in some, or they fake like they do in some. Star Citizen actually does it. Like, a lot of moving parts in the ships, a lot of things you can interact with, and a lot of cool parts about it is getting these awesome ships that you see in a lot of sci-fi movies or TV, but it's actually there the way you expect it to be. Everything works the way you hope it would. I think that's the biggest appeal right now, as in, I'm pretty sure their biggest like contributor to those are these whales that they're getting, because like in Star Citizen, if you're not aware how you pledge is, you buy your ships, and by buy your ships I mean you really buy your ships actual money down. The package I got, which lets you play the game and get the ship, $65. There are some ships in there that just the ship, just to have the right to fly the ship, are $600. It goes up to $1,000 actual money. And the thing is, people actually buy these.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I can't remember what it originally cost. So someone can correct me on this. I have the price wrong. It was the Freelancer package. I believe I spent $150 on it. I'm really hoping it wasn't $250, like part of my brain is telling me. But
here's the thing, Josh. It could have been either, because there's definitely a Freelancer model at that 150 level. There's one at 100 level. Mm-hmm. There's one at a $300 level.
Well, it was the original pledge. It was literally the very first round of the game. So I think there was only one Freelancer package at that time, because I got a lot of stuff with it. But
the ships are just like cars in the model cars, as in like, hey, here's this basic version of this car. Mm-hmm. But here's like the luxury version of this car. And it works like that with their ships. Like, same models, but these have cooler things in them. As far as gameplay wise, not really. They all kind of do the same thing. But as far as like the aesthetic wise, yes, very much so.
Yeah, I backed this, back when it was originally available, which was the days where, if I remember, I think I backed it in the back when, I don't think we were in this house. I think we were in the previous house. So back then, I had a bank account with a decent amount of money in it. I had not bought a house yet. I did not have children yet. I'd only just gotten married. So dropping, $150 or $250, whatever it was, on a game like this was like, yeah, cool. I could drop it on the hot rod. I could drop it on that and just be totally fine with it. Now with a game that's still not out, and for the first up until I think last year, I never had a PC that could play it, even though I had all the specs. The game I could never get running for what the game was in its state. Yeah, in a world where now I have children, I have a house, I have assorted debts and stuff like that. $150 or $250 being lost on something is quite a bummer. I'm going to tell you right now. It doesn't sting quite as much as a lifetime subscription to Champions Online. And it stings about the same. Star Trek Online, I at least dropped a good 100+ hours in on like Champions, which I dropped about 40 or so hours into the character creator, and that's about it. So it definitely,
it's called Bear Punch. Just want you to know, Josh.
Yeah, I have one as well.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I really do. All right, the game does not actually exist anymore, so we don't have any of that, mind you.
Yes.
Fuck off.
I think I got okay. It's all playing. I'm playing it up. I'm so pissed off at Josh and Bear Punch, but there was a point that I was so just angry that I was like, I'm gonna fight Josh on this. I have the character made before I believe he took it on his Twitter. I'm gonna post that and get it for myself. I was that spiteful, Josh.
I know.
In my life.
I know. We've talked about this. I think it was episode 296. I want to say of Constant Calibrating podcast. If anyone wants to hear us come to terms with the Bear Punch name.
Yep. But anyway, I was talking about all that to say this, so pretty much, so why you can understand it's cool just to walk around these ships.
Sure.
Why people are excited they finally could. So the last time I played this, the build there was a separate spaceport which lets you call on your ships and actually fly them around in this. It's pretty much like contained area.
Okay.
And then there was a separate one for a city that you can get an idea what the cities would be like. Even though not fully, like pretty much all you could do is walk around. So why it's exciting right now, and it was done before this. I'm not sure exactly which version they finally had like a build where you finally get an idea of what they're aiming for. Right now it's I think 3.7.2.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is everything is connected. The world is seamless. Once it loads, that is it. You seamlessly get in your ships, you seamlessly leave the hangar, you seamlessly fly to a different planet, you seamlessly land to different planets, travel through, right now it's just one solar system, but different planets, but the detail in these planets is insane. Like, I understand why the game has taken as long as it has to be at the point it's at. It's like finally time that you get that true taste of what this game will be, and it's a great enough taste to hook me in the way it is. And I have that, you get these like during MMOs and stuff like that, where a new game comes out, you are hooked, and you want to know every little thing about it. You want to know everything you could do. And I'm at that point right now where I have been up for, the reason why I'm tired and almost past the show is because I've been up late playing it when I shouldn't be. This game is what every sci-fi fan kind of wanted. Like, it is a game where you're just this dude in the galaxy, and they do such a good job of making you feel so small. Like, it is a true open galaxy. The planets feel like planets. It takes time to get through, like, doing like, and like the beginning, like the first city is so huge, and then when you fly out for the first time, you see how much more city there is. Now, I don't know if you can actually get to those points. I seriously doubt it, but it is like fully modeled.
Okay.
Like, impressed. Like, the first area you start off right now, which is the Arc something, but the area 18 of it. There are a couple of areas you can travel to, but I get lost walking around in that city. Granted, I got lost walking around some of the ships. That's how detailed they are. Like, I sent a picture of this. It's a huge ship. I think it's called the Mauler.
Okay.
Or Ravager. It's a Ravager ship. It is actually, every ship has a purpose too. Like, this is a full-on salvage ship. It is there to pull and salvage, big salvage, process it, and get it to a point where you can sell it. All that's not implemented yet, but they're working on that. But, like, I got so lost in this ship. Like, I took a picture, sent to one of my friends that's super interested to it. It's like, those dots are the people.
Yeah, I mean, everything you sent me and watching my my stepdad Joey play it last Thanksgiving, I mean, everything looks cool.
Yep. And from what I understand, they did this last year too. Another big part of Let's Bring People In, they actually have imagine a Fleet Week. It is an expo letting you actually walk around the ships and rent the ships where you could just take them out and go for free. It like to their $600 ships. Let you try it out, own it for 24 hours. Well, rent for 24 hours and do what you want to do with it. Run jobs, whatever you want to do. Like, the cool thing about that too is, like, every time you start, which at the point annoying, but of course, like, it is going to be worked on. Like, this is super alpha. It is super buggy. Things don't make sense, but that's where we're at with it. That you start off in an apartment, you take the elevator, go down to an apartment, you walk out to the main area in the city, you have to walk to a different section of that city, you got to hop onto a tram that takes you to an actual convention center in the game, and you enter that convention center, and things are actually set up like a convention center would be for a ship display, or if you ever went to an air show, it's kind of what it looks like. And then, like, at all the ships you can interact with, you can open it down, you can sit in the cockpit, whatever you want to do, just to, like, view it and tour it. And they're all advertised just like that too, except, like, this is more like I would say an air show, because most air shows you can't buy what's there. Think of more of a car show where, like, or a CES where, like, here, you're trying this out, you can go ahead and put some payment down on that and actually take it off later. But yeah, it's like everything's laid out so you can actually get a true feeling to ships in the game, because right now there's not really a great way to see these ships before you buy them, except some walkthrough videos you can find on YouTube, which there are plenty of them.
Oh yeah, there's more than enough.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just so freaking cool. And then when you reach your ships, you gotta take that tram back to the airport, which circles around. Get in the airport, load your ship, then travel to the hangar, get into it. And from there, call out traffic control to open. Oh, jeez. So depending on what ship you have, depends what kind of hangar you get to. Of course, they have the, generally expect a door will open, you fly out front face. But if you get the huge ass ships, it's one of those like, oh, the hangar's open up top. You gotta vertical takeoff to get out that bad boy.
Gotta do some VTOL.
Yeah. And some ships have actually VTOL action to the point where you can actually point the engines too. It's holy crap. So that's just the ships.
Just the ships, Justin.
That's not even diving deep on the ships. Like when you load into a turret, it is so freaking cool because like the turret is inside the ship. You sit on the seat and it lifts you up into it. Josh, this game's so cool. I have a obsession that I'm making my friend go crazy about it. He just loves this. It's like I want to fit smaller ships into bigger ships.
I mean, it's funny. I saw like a picture earlier today of somebody mocking the concept of the ultra rich, which is something I can get behind. But it was them showing a speedboat docking with a yacht. And like going inside a yacht, I'm like, it's literally that same exact principle. It's it's you take your
ships that are purposely designed just for this.
I really want to see someone like dock like a fighter class ship inside of like a slightly bigger ship, like a yacht, then dock that inside like a carrier. I wonder if you could go 3 deep like that. Go Perestroika doll. I think I said that right.
So to give you an idea of the ships,
sure, let's go for it.
They're just fighters. You just hop in the cockpit. That's all there are. And by the way, like each ships like have certain like fighters, cargo ships, salvage ships. Each ships look like they fit that role, and each ships function to fit that role. Like there is a cargo ship. It's pretty beefy, the Caterpillar. Which if you were a space trucker, this is what you would drive. Like
okay,
the ship parts that are actually part of the ship that function with the ship. All in the backside, and then the whole front side is not my cargo space in different bays. I don't know, it's pretty cool. I kind of want it because I like doing salvage runs. We'll talk about later, or storage cargo runs. Yeah. So, and then there's a kind of like more bigger ships that let you have like 1 or 2 crew, but just fine. And every ship you could pilot on your own.
Okay.
But to lose it properly, you need crews. There is the bigger, more ridiculous ships that are just the ones I get lost in. That are more like Corvette size, if you're thinking about ship. Because every ship that like Star Wars, Star Trek even, same thing with the Navy. Like there's like, cruisers, Corvettes,
sure,
Capital. This is not in the game yet. It will be in the game. There are videos of them. Because actually these people are, if you just look, they are so transparent about what they're doing. They are giving very active updates. They have streams that everything cool they're working on, they're showing you. It's not one of those game things that are developing and don't want to share your secrets. Even like they have like features that they let people vote on. It's like, hey, we're thinking about this. We're not sure how we want to do this. Which way do y'all prefer? Like, I think one was like space ship to ship transfer. People are talking about, do you want to have a system automatically transfers things, or do you actually want that full immersive where you have to put it there, carry it, go into the other ship, drop it off, and so on. But yeah, there are full capital ships that would properly crew, would probably take half the current server, which right now they're instant servers at 50, which I imagine is going to rise down the line.
You gotta assume.
Enough. Yeah,
the game is at least 25 years from release at this point. So
they are the exact. When I say capital ships, they are the Star Destroyers. They are the Hammonds. They are that type of ship.
Okay,
that damn big, have active hangars that carry nice full size ships. It's fantastic, Josh. It's just so good.
All right.
There is a bougie behind ship. Like it is the space yacht. There is a pool table. There is an actual water pool, which you can't swim in the game. So, and don't get into it right now because things happen. This ship has a bar.
What happens when you get? Hold on. What happens when you get in the pool,
dude? I had to slash dance my way out of it, man. Weird things happen. Like one of my ships right now, it's a small 300i, which is the small bougie.
Small boosh.
Like very sleek, but it has wood grain in it, a little bar, stuff like that.
Nice.
Don't serve any purpose besides aesthetic, but it's a nice one. Like my only seats is my cockpit and my toilet
Okay.
that you can physically sit on. You can lay in a bed too. But yeah.
I mean, Justin, you keep talking about cosmetic stuff with these ships, like that's kind of like the main purpose of them.
It's the cosmetic stuff that you want.
But do you remember me in our Days in Star Wars Galaxies? All the shit I would deck my house in, all the cosmetic stuff I would have. I had all the best lightsaber crystals. I would get all the best banners. I would get all the best stuff. There was no purpose in it. But
it is that.
Yeah.
It is absolutely that.
And I spent real money on it because I was an idiot who didn't really think about gold sellers or credit sellers, and I would buy credits because I was a schmuck back in those days.
Oh yeah, well they're cutting that down on most stuff, but yeah, it is that. It is the evolution of that. It's definitely out of time as far as how you're doing stuff, but it's working, so that's why you keep doing it. But yeah, the big bougie ship. There's even like a basketball court in her. You can't play basketball in the game yet. But it is also the hangar for the bougie ship. I was like, God, like X-Men? Yes.
Okay.
Their hangars on the basketball court. And like actually the bay doors open, the court lifts up, people can park on it, you can pull the bay back down.
Jesus Christ.
Except it's like the very smallest of small. I haven't done it yet. I am obsessed with doing it, but I lost my rental period, so I can't do it now.
I want you to know I have the download page opened on my computer right now.
Please start. But yeah, my obsession is I want a big ship that I fly to these planets, and then a smaller ship to jump in, like out to the planets. That's my obsession right now. It's a great one. But yeah, it's cool. You take on cargo missions. You have to fly to a different planet. You have to meet a courier or a courier area. You hit the button to retrieve your package. Pick it up. For the smaller ones, walk it to your ship, place it down, take off, go to the other place, go to that courier area, place it in there. I had to put it on a shelf before. So like my ship, I was trying to get to this earlier. Like things are very finicky right now. Like my ship is so bougie that I have a bottom cargo area because I don't want your dirty packages right in my clean ship. You know, you can't put them there. I got in it, loaded a package, it glitched below it, started pushing it up while I was in it. And this is one like you can't fit it unless you're laying down. So I'm like, oh, and I was like laying down. I was like, friend Walker, I was like, Walker, help, I can't get out. It's like, I need you to come pick up this package and open my cargo hold.
So fair enough. That's you and shipping packages. Is what I'm getting at it. By the way, out of curiosity, I decided to look up when I backed this game. October 15th, 2012.
Damn.
Not only did I back the game, man, on October 20th.
I met you.
No, I met you long. No, you and I met each other, Justin. We met each other in 2005.
Was it 2005?
Yeah, Galaxy, dude.
It was.
The first time you and I ever really hung out, just the two of us, we talked about this on the podcast, was the Christmas, like the New Year's Eve, right after my mom died, and she died December 21st, 2005. So,
yeah, I always think about it like I was out of high school, but hell no, I was damn near starting it.
Yeah, I mean it was a long ass time ago, but what I was gonna say is.
2005. Yes, I was out of high school.
You were out of high school because,
fresh out of high school.
Yeah, you were a couple years out because we're the same age.
Another reason, like, I also graduated, like, the college I went to in 2014, so I keep confusing 2004 with 14 as far as things that happened in my life.
It sounds about right. What I was going to say was, and then I also backed, I was so into Star Citizen that when they threw it up on Kickstarter, I wanted the Kickstarter exclusive skin, which was like $5, and I backed that on October 25th, 2012.
People are gonna be so jealous of you.
Yeah.
And there's such stupid thing as this game. Like I ran into other players, and then one of them was holding a turtle for no damn reason, and then they were passing the turtle around. Whatever. Like everything you interact with in this game, anything that you want to interact with, you can interact with, and I think they're trying to expand that. Yeah, but the whole point is, it's at a point now where you can play it, it makes sense, and you get sucked into it. Like, this is a truly just seamless sci-fi space game, and it's freaking awesome. You beat any sci-fi thing you've seen before, with the exception of Jedi. We'll see if they get there yet. But like the sci-fi style takes Jedi out of Star Wars. You could do that in this game. You can build you can have a bunch of people who are just Marines. By the way, my guy looks like Master Chief or Doom Marine. Pick your choice. It's pretty much a damn same character. And they look pretty much the same, similar. That's what my character looks like. There's also one that has a kind of like torn up poncho type cape stuff, kind of something you'll find on Tatooine. Like a lot of different. I think it blows my mind too. Like if you go to one planet to the other, it does not look the same. It feels completely different. I don't see the same asset used, like or recycled throughout all these places I'm going to. Same thing with a city. Full-on cities feel completely different when you go to them. And that's just right now. It's crazy. I understand why it has taken them this long. If you do install that, I implore you to install it on SSD if available, because for some reason my game runs like poop on my standard hard drive. SSD actually flowed pretty good. It is definitely playable-ish. Right now, progression-wise, I think they wipe anything that you buy in-game at certain points. Because, of course, they're trying to balance in. They don't want somebody to take advantage of like certain missions that they keep doing over and over. What have you. It's standard alpha stuff. I can't wait to get to the point where it's truly persistent. That's probably when I'm going to dive in like super hard on it. But, yeah, it's so cool. Like, this game is so damn cool. It's the space game I always wanted. You could be a space trucker. You could be a soldier. You could be a fighter pilot. And there's no class you pick that just does this. It's just the stuff you buy.
Yep.
Like, oh man, I bought me some armor, got a gun. I got me a ship that fights. Cool. Or like, man, this ship kind of has some defenses because you need it in this day and age. But mostly it's there to haul cargo. I mean, like, everything is there for specific reasons. And some of it is specifically vanity, as somebody would be in this. Like, you could be the Lando Calrissian in this place if you really want to be. God, they need to add gambling. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen.
It has to.
Hopefully not with real money.
I don't think that's legal. So,
I mean, technically you can do it in Red Dead and Grand Theft Auto because technically you can buy credits, but Rockstar does a really good job of eliminating how much you can actually do to the point where you can't. Yes, it does pry on those tendencies, but it tries to do it where it's not harmful to you. For the few people who do that,
sure.
I guess.
I mean,
I could keep going.
The thing is, I failed in reining you in, and I don't have enough time to talk about what I wanted to talk about. So
we got to talk about it. By the way,
literally,
Fallen Order.
Justin, you listen to me now. I don't have time to talk about it, so we got to push it back again.
Tell her to jump on the trampoline, man.
She's in bed trying not to throw up.
Oh, jeez. Holy crap.
So yeah, guys, it's also like, yeah, the show's been going for an hour and 15 minutes. Nobody's gonna last this long to come find this. So we can try to either record a special episode bonus for Fallen Order, or we'll just have to talk about it next week.
Really need to, because I can rant this long about Fallen Order too.
That's the reason why I don't want to do this, because I've got 45 minutes of conversation about Fallen Order in me.
Like a lot of good stuff hit between November and early December.
It's a lot of stuff, and it's really hard to do an hour to 15 minute show every week with the amount that's coming out, which is going to suck when it rolls around into January and we got nothing to talk about.
Yeah, so I'm going to wrap up the show and wrap up Star Citizen.
Wrap up Star Citizen, and then I do got one very mini news thing that broke while we were doing the show.
To wrap up Star Citizen, it is really cool right now. It is definitely at the point where people should be interested to play it right now, because it's a finally true taste of what that game's going to be. Something I wish they didn't do wish they would do is rein in creating new ships, because they're constantly doing that, and understandably so. That is their moneymaker. And I wish they would just take what they have right now, because what they have right now could totally be a game I would play and buy full price, even more so, especially with this game, and enjoy it. But it needs to be polished, so I wish they would stop building extra stuff and making promises and just polish what's there right now. I'm sure they got teams dedicated to that, but they need to go full force, get this to a 1.0 release, and just get it done. But I mean, that's a lot easier said than done. And saying that, they have made a huge stride in last year, I believe. Just
That's what I've seen.
Last time I played it to now, it's just leaps and bounds. Like, they're not just raking in cash and doing nothing with it. They're putting some hard work into it. They're putting some love into it. Like, this game is truly a labor of love. Granted, it's also making a lot of money.
Yes.
It's the Elon Musk of video games.
Oh, Jesus.
Which eventually he'll probably get into. As I'm pretty sure his car and him will probably be in Cyberpunk. Anyways, you had a quick news thing.
Yeah, just a quick news thing. So we've been waiting forever for Nintendo Switch Online to add more Super Nintendo games. Well, they just announced coming December 12th, Star Fox 2, Super Punch-Out, Kirby Superstar, and Breath of Fire 2. And they'll also be adding 2 games to the NES store, or not NES store, the NES program, which is Journey to Silius and Crystallis. So I'll probably play Super Punch-Out again.
Yeah, so it's finally at the point now, like, I don't need to yank out the SNES Classic to legitimately play stuff.
Yeah, we officially have gotten
much
the majority of the stuff now.
Most of that is on there. Okay, that's awesome.
Give me Super Mario RPG, and I pretty much actually don't need to use the Classic again, honestly, with what's come to it. I mean, aesthetically, it's lovely. It's sitting right...
I see it. I saw it. Turn back to your right.
Yep, there it is. There it is. It's right.
There you go.
There. Yeah. So, yeah.
We had a couple of things we want to talk about.
We ain't got the time, yo.
Yeah, we can get into Valley Gods cancellation because it was moved. Productions pretty much moved to Alyx.
Yeah, which pisses me off because Camposanto. Wait, I'm saying that right. Yeah, they did Firewatch, one of my all-time favorite games, and Valley Gods was something I was super excited about. And the fact that they have indefinitely postponed Valley Gods, it's not happening. I don't believe it. But the fact that it's not happening so that they could do a fucking Half-Life thing, VR thing. Here's the thing: never played a Half-Life game. Have no interest in ever playing a Half-Life game.
But you at least understand the weight and gravity of Half-Life.
I understand the weight and gravity of it, and I think it's one of the most overhyped things ever. And from my personal perspective, a brand new, interesting game from one of the most talented developers being shelved so Valve can half-heartedly, years and over a decade later, kind of vaguely, kind of do something with Half-Life.
It's kind of is what Half-Life is. Like, it was at that time, if you got into it when it hits, both games were leaps and bounds ahead of anything out there.
I understand.
And now I'm not talking about just graphically. Graphically too, but just Half-Life 2 was completely physics-based, how things worked. That's the game I first remember that had, in a cinematic, or when you're looking at somebody, you can see the subtle facial features, which I appreciate in games right now.
I mean, again, I understand the technical achievements. I understand the technical importance of it, but the problem is Half-Life has become more. It's the notion of Half-Life is less about the technical performance now and the leaps and bounds. It's now just about the rose-tinted glasses of it being the greatest series of all time.
The best thing I can relate it to is Star Wars. Oh God, when you know the original 3, when it hit, oh my gosh, everybody talking about it. Some people never got into it. Mm-hmm. Then the trilogy hit.
Yep.
And then eventually it's going to get to a point where it got more mainstream and Disney bought it, and then there'll be more released that are not as great, but just use whole thing. Anyways, that happened. And the other part is Phil Spencer has actually a Scarlett at home and is primarily using it. So it is at that point that they're allowing their, well, they've probably been doing it before, but publicly saying, hey, I actually have this thing and I am actually using this thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much the final confirmation. Like we're in the next gen starting up stage.
Yeah. Also, something that completely passed me. Halo Reach on PC right now.
If we did not have best of the year stuff coming up soon, I would be playing Reach instead of anything else right now, because Reach is my favorite Halo game of all time. Mm-hmm. So and yeah, it's part of Xbox Game Pass, I believe, on PC also, as well. So it's why not?
I think I need to look up. I wonder if it's still part of Play Anywhere as well, as in if you have the Master Chief Collection on Xbox, you just happen to have it on PC too. It being having Xbox Game Pass Plus or not. That might be a thing, but I'm not sure, so I don't want to go all in on it. Anyways, hey, that's the show this week. Woo!
It's a hell of a show, man.
Yeah, man, that's what happens when I wake up from a nap. Thank you all for joining us this week. The Catch All Gaming Podcast is live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Mixer.com/ConCalPod. We're on Facebook at Facebook.com/Constantly Calibrating, Twitter at ConCalPod. Of course, you've been sending me Blam just said showed up. I am Justin, who is just at Justin_Glorious on Twitter.
He's been here the whole time, by the way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But first time he said something. It's like when you're streaming and you're like, yeah. And there's people hanging out, enjoying you, supporting you, but you don't see it until they say something. And you're like, crap, now I got to do it longer.
Yeah, you're talking about the person who obsessively every 5 minutes while streaming checks who's in the stream lurking, because that's how my brain works.
Yosemite Blame, I love you. So yeah, Josh is at Beer Punch on Twitter. Check Instagram at Instagram.com/Constantly Calibrating. Come chat with us on Discord at ConstantlyCalibrating.com/Discord. Come play Star Citizen with me. Please make sure to leave us a review wherever you're able to. It really does help the podcast to get in front of most listeners, and definitely helps us get some events. Apple Podcasts and Spotify help the most. And with that, razzle dazzle well, bub. Till we catch you next time.